Welcome to TeleFox. Today we will be going through how to set up a FreePBX server on a virtual machine, so that way you could make and have a phone system that functions within the internal network of your business, and eventually we will show you how to have the phone system work with the external business networks as well. So let's begin. So in previous videos, we have shown you how to set up a virtual machine. So you guys should be familiar with how to download an ISO and implement it on a virtual machine. But I will show you the basics here. With Google open, you want to go to freepbx.com, and then you want to click on the download right here. You will fill out all your information, and then we'll send you the ISO directly to your email. So I will fill that information out now, and I will see you back in about 5 minutes with the ISO. Once the download is complete, what we want to do is open up virtual machine and install the ISO inside the virtual environment. So as you can see, we have all of our servers here inside of VirtualBox. We click on machine and then click on new. From here we want to locate where we want to save the virtual machine. I already have a designated spot for that on an external drive. So if we go over here to E and we scroll down to VMs, save it in this patch. Next we give it a name. The name of the virtual machine is going to be called FreePBX. And then we want to change the type to Linux and other 64-bit Linux distribution. Click on next. Now you want to give it appropriate amount of RAM. I'm going to give it 4 gigabytes of RAM. We will create a virtual disk now, and then a VDI. If you want to migrate it onto a hypervisor, you want to save it to VMDK. This should work on most of the other virtual machine host providers, but I'm going to save it as VDI. Click on next. We do not want to select dynamically allocated, so we'll click on fixed, and we will give it a size of 70. Click create. This will take about a minute to 2 minutes depending on your system, and I will be back with launching the system for the first time and installing the ISO. Alright, so before we launch the virtual PBX for the first time, we want to go highlight the virtual machine that we just created, click on settings, and we want to change a few things. So we want to look at the system. The RAM is fine, this is fine. Processor, we may want to give it more cores. I have up to 12 CPUs, but we will keep it at a 2 core, and acceleration will keep. Display, we could turn up the video memory to a little bit higher count, and then here for the disk, we want to upload the ISO. So the ISO, you just click on this little disk icon for the secondary ID. E, and then you click on choose disk. You locate the disk wherever you saved it. For me, I saved it on the desktop, so we go ahead and select that. Next we want to go to the adapter, enable 1 adapter. We could have up to 4, and we want to change this to bridge adapter, and we want to select the appropriate adapter on this server. So let me go ahead and pull up the control panel, make sure I have the correct one. So we want to select adapter 2 for you. It depends what subnet you want your device residing on, but I'm going to select adapter 2 because I know that's the network where I want the PBX server to be hosted. So click OK. Alright, so now we can launch it for the first time. Alright, so now we have the boot menu here, and we're going to select install FreePBX 16 *16. We're going to go ahead and ignore these other ones. We're going to select the recommended choice and click on enter. And we'll go ahead and select output. Let's see. We'll do graphical installation output to VGA and PBX standard. It will initialize the installation process, and it may ask us some important questions that we want to document. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is create a root password, and I will be right back. Once we create that, we will go to the next setting. Alright, now that we have the root password for the system, we will create a user. It looks like a user will be created with a root name, I do believe. But let's go ahead and let everything load, and we'll wait until the next menu pops up. Alright, so now that the installation is complete, we will reboot the machine. Now we want to remove the ISO, so we go ahead and click on Input, or actually Devices, go to Optical Drive, and remove disk from virtual drive. Then you want to reboot the machine one more time. So after we reboot, it's going to launch the Signoma FreePBX server. Then from there we could start the configuration of the network information, along with accessing the GUI options and registering our free license. So what you want to do is go ahead and type in the password, the root password that you created for your server inside of the FreePBX login. So first we type up root and then the password for root. Okay, from here we want to assign a specific address, or we could go into our main router and assign a DHCP reservation for that address at 10.0.0.133. So that's what I might do. What we will do is go into the router and assign that address. I will be right back. Alright, so if you have a DHCP server running on your network that passes out automatic IP addresses, you can make a reservation for this machine. Most internet service provider routers also provide DHCP reservations. So what you need to do is go to your router settings, and this is on the 10.0.0/24 network. And in previous videos, we set up this DHCP server on this TP link, which is the main essential DHCP server. So as you can see, we have the FreePBX client right here, and what we want to do is click on Operation, and this basically gave it the reservation. And as you can see in the reservation 10.0.0.33, this machine will always get the address of this number for the FreePBX because it's a reservation. You can also do Mac's export to Mac binding, so let's go ahead and do that too as well. And now we have the system where it will always reboot and pick up the address of 10.0.0.133. Alright, so next we want to try to access the GUI interface for this server. Right now we're at the CLI, or the command line interface. So what we need to do is type up the address in the search bar. Alright, so we're here inside of the GUI system, and all I had to do is type in 10.0.0.133, and that brings us to the IP address of the server. Alright, so we want to create an administrator separate from the root user, and the root should have a different password as the administrator. So I will go ahead and do that in just a moment. We will be back in about 2 minutes. Alright, so once you create the administrative password for the first time, what you would do is click on FreePBX administration. You could also go to the user control panel and operating panel, but we will go ahead and click on this right here. We will click in the username and type in the password. Alright, so when you log into the GUI for the first time, it's going to welcome you. It's going to thank you for installing the FreePBX system, and then they're going to ask you if you would like to activate the system now. You want to do that because it's going to give you options to have a lot more controllability over this phone system. So go ahead and click on Activate. You will enter your email address that you provided, and then you would log in using the information that they require. Once signed in, you want to go ahead and select your language, and then you want to activate the firewall for this unit. And you just want to accept all the information. Next, you want to click on Apply Config, and that will save all the settings. Okay, so there is a lot of system settings that we have here to set up a new phone, which we will get into the next video. But what we want to do, if you did not activate your system, is hover over the admin tab and select System Admin. Then you want to click on Activation. From here, you want to activate the system, and you would have to create an account. So if you haven't created an account before, you will have to do so forth and provide all your information so they can contact you and potentially utilize your information for soliciting your business, and it will help you create a SIP trunk account as well. So go ahead and fill out this form, and then we'll get back to the next activation page. Now the machine's going to ask you if you want to provide a location name for the activation stage. This is if you have multiple businesses that are connecting together, or multiple small businesses that you manage. Say if you're a consulting or a managed service provider, you'd want to provide the location of each name. So say for this, that would be the name of the business or a short abbreviation of the business, plus the location, or maybe even a zip code, so that way you can distinguish between the different servers that you are managing throughout your network. So we're going to skip that part because we don't have various locations, and we'll go ahead and click on Activate. The process will start installing the activation, and then we could go to the next selection. Alright, so now you have all these module updates that you want to apply. Go ahead and click on Update Now. And please note, this process could take up to 5 to 10, 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and run through the process. And while it's doing that, we will get back to you in the next session. Alright, so installing and downloading all those update modules can take some time, so we will go ahead and end the video here. And the next video, we will show you how to set up your first soft phone, which is a soft IP phone, and a physical IP phone, which basically is what is used on enterprise networks. So we'll see you in the next video based on PBX. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You have a good afternoon.